The day started like any other at Teguk Monitoring Station. Commander Han sat at his control desk, sipping a hot drink while checking the routine sensor reports from Sector 7G. This remote corner of the Galactic Empire rarely saw anything interesting. Most days Han simply watched for merchant ships and filed boring reports. Another quiet morning, Han said to himself, stretching his arms above his head. His rest didn't last long. A loud alarm suddenly blared through the station. Red lights flashed on all screens. "What's happening?" Han shouted, jumping to his feet. His drink spilled across his desk. Lieutenant June rushed to the main sensor console. His fingers moved quickly over the controls. "Sir, we have an unidentified ship entering the sector." "Probably just another trader who forgot to send their codes," Han said. "This happened at least once a month." "Give them the standard warning." June shook his head. "No, sir. This is different." His voice trembled. "The ship is massive. Our sensors can't even measure its full size." Han pushed June aside to see for himself. The screen showed a vessel unlike any Imperial design he had ever seen. It was sleek yet powerful, with strange patterns along its hull. Most alarming were the weapon ports, dozens of them lining its sides. "That's a warship," Han whispered. "Yes, sir, and its energy readings are off the charts. Nothing in our database matches it." The station grew quiet as everyone stared at the main screen. The mysterious ship moved slowly but with purpose, as if it had every right to be there. Could it be a new Imperial design? Something from Central Command we weren't told about? Han asked, hoping for a simple answer. The communications officer, Technician Min, raised her hand. "Sir, they're broadcasting an identification signal." "Put it on screen." Large letters appeared. HSS Dauntless. HSS? What empire or alliance uses that prefix? Han asked. Min checked her database. Her face went pale. "Sir, HSS stands for Human Spaceship." The room fell completely silent. Everyone knew about humans. They were the primitive species from the tiny blue planet in a distant arm of the galaxy. The Empire had discovered them a century ago, but decided they weren't worth conquering yet. Humans had just figured out how to reach their own moon when Imperial scouts first observed them. The Empire's scientists said they wouldn't develop proper space travel for at least another 500 years. "That's impossible," Han said. "Humans are barely off their planet. They don't have this technology." Yet the evidence floated before them on the giant screen. "Sir, what should we do?" June asked. "Should we alert Imperial High Command?" Han thought for a moment. Reporting this could go two ways. If it was really a human ship with advanced technology, he would be thanked for the important discovery, but if it was a mistake, if the ship was actually something else, he would look foolish and might lose his position. "Let's make contact first," Han decided. "Let's find out what we're dealing with." Min nodded and opened a communication channel. "Attention, unknown vessel. This is Teguk Imperial Monitoring Station. You have entered restricted space. Identify yourself and state your purpose." The screen changed to show the inside of the ship's control room. A human sat in the center chair. He had dark hair and wore a simple dark uniform with small silver marks on the collar. He looked surprisingly normal for someone who shouldn't be there. "This is Captain Kim of the human spaceship Dauntless," the man said with a slight smile. "We apologize for any alarm our presence has caused." Han stepped forward. "Captain Kim, you have entered restricted Imperial space without permission. Human vessels are not permitted in this sector." Captain Kim raised his eyebrows. "Oh, is this the right sector? Our navigation must be off. We're just passing through." The casual response shocked Han. The human spoke as if he had accidentally walked into the wrong room, not violated the borders of the most powerful empire in the galaxy. "Just passing through?" Han repeated. "Captain, humans are not authorized for interstellar travel beyond your home system. Your presence here violates at least 5 Imperial decrees." Kim nodded politely. "We understand your concern, Commander, but times change. Earth has made some advances recently." Behind Kim, Han could see other humans working at various stations. They all appeared calm and professional. This was clearly not some accident or desperate mission. These humans knew exactly what they were doing. "Captain, I must ask you to power down your engines and prepare for inspection," Han said, trying to sound confident. Kim smiled again. "I'm afraid that won't be possible, Commander. We're on a tight schedule, but I assure you we mean no harm to your station or the Empire. We're simply mapping this region for our own records," Lieutenant June whispered urgently in Han's ear. "Sir, I've completed a scan of their vessel. Their weapon systems are... I don't even have words. One of their smaller cannons could destroy this entire station. They have technology we've never seen before." Han's throat went dry. He turned back to the screen. "Captain Kim, I must insist that you hold position while I consult with my superiors." "Of course, Commander. We'll remain here for now. No need to worry. We're not looking for trouble." Kim's tone was friendly, but something in his eyes suggested he knew exactly how powerful his position was. As the transmission ended, the station erupted into panicked discussion. "How is this possible?" Technician Min asked. "Humans are primitive. They shouldn't have this technology for another 1,000 years. Either our information about humans is wrong, or that's not really a human ship," June said. Han silenced them with a raised hand. "Get me a direct line to Grand Admiral Park at Central Command. This goes beyond our authority." As June prepared the secure channel, Han stared at the massive ship on the screen. The Empire had ruled the galaxy for 10,000 years. Every species knew their place. The strong commanded and the weak obeyed. Humans were supposed to be among the weakest, curious little beings on a small planet that posed no threat. Yet here they were, with a warship that could destroy an Imperial station without effort. If humans had this level of technology, what else might they have? And how many more ships like this existed? The secure channel beeped, indicating the connection was ready. Han took a deep breath before accepting the call. He would have to choose his words carefully. This report could start a panic throughout the entire Empire, or worse, it could start a war that the Empire might not be prepared to fight. "Grand Admiral Park," Han began, "I regret to inform you that we have a situation in Sector 7G. A human warship has entered Imperial space." The silence on the other end lasted only a moment before the Admiral's voice boomed through the speaker. "Did you say human?" Grand Admiral Park stood before the Imperial High Council. His normally perfect uniform looked wrinkled. He had not slept since receiving Commander Han's message 12 hours ago. "A human warship?" asked Counselor Lee, an old man with a long, white beard. "This must be a mistake." "It is not a mistake," Park said firmly. "We have visual confirmation. The ship calls itself HSS Dauntless. It is definitely of human design." The council room buzzed with worried voices. 20 of the Empire's highest leaders sat around a large round table. Above them, a hologram showed the human warship floating near Taguk Station. "But this is impossible," said Counselor Nari, tapping her fingers nervously on the table. "Humans are barely space-capable. Our last report showed they had only reached their 4th planet." Park nodded. "That report was from just 3 years ago. Something has changed dramatically." "Could they have stolen this technology?" asked Counselor Min. "Perhaps they captured a ship from another race?" "We considered that," Park replied. "But the design is unique. It matches no known style in our database. And the energy readings?" He paused. "The energy readings suggest technology more advanced than our own." The room fell silent. The Galactic Empire had ruled for 10,000 years. No species had technology more advanced than theirs. It was unthinkable. "What do they want?" asked the head counselor, an old woman named Yuna. "They claim to be just passing through," Park said. "But no one just passes through restricted Imperial space." "Have they made any aggressive moves?" Counselor Lee asked. "No. They remain in position near Taguk Station, but they refuse to power down or submit to inspection." The council members looked at each other with worried faces. No one knew what to do. "We must inform the Emperor," Counselor Yuna finally said. Park shook his head. "I already have. He has ordered us to handle this situation. The Emperor does not wish to be disturbed with minor border incidents." Everyone knew what that meant. If things went badly, the Emperor wanted someone else to blame. "How should we proceed, Admiral?" Counselor Nari asked. "I recommend caution," Park said. "We should send a diplomatic vessel to meet with the humans while we gather our forces. If their intentions are peaceful, good. If not, we will be prepared." The council voted quickly and approved Park's plan. As the meeting ended, a young woman approached the Admiral. Her uniform showed she worked in Imperial Intelligence. "Admiral Park, I am Analyst G. I have been studying the human vessel's specifications." Park looked at her with interest. "What have you found?" "The ship's hull is made of material unknown to our science," G said, showing him a datapad. "And its propulsion system seems to bend space-time in ways our best scientists thought impossible." "How dangerous is it?" Park asked directly. G hesitated. "Based on our scans, its defensive capabilities could withstand our most powerful weapons, and its offensive systems." She stopped, looking uncomfortable. "Speak freely," Park ordered. "One ship like this could destroy an entire Imperial battle fleet, sir." Park's face remained calm, but his hands tightened into fists. "Thank you, Analyst G. Continue your work. I want to know everything about this vessel." As G walked away, Park's personal communicator beeped. It was a message from the Emperor himself. "Delay the humans. Do not provoke them. We need time." Park quickly selected his best diplomat, Envoy Day, to lead the mission to the human ship. Day was smart, careful, and good at buying time. Meanwhile, aboard the HSS Dauntless, Captain Kim sat in his private room with Commander Sun, his second-in-command. "The Empire has called an emergency meeting of their High Council," Sun reported, with a small smile. "Our plan is working." Kim nodded. "And our real mission?" "Proceeding perfectly. While they focus on us, the other ships are moving into position. Earth Command reports all systems are ready." Kim walked to the window and looked out at the stars. "When I was a child, my grandfather told me stories about the stars. He said humans would reach them someday." He turned to Sun. "But he never imagined we would challenge an empire." "We're not just challenging them," Sun replied. "We're changing everything." They both knew the truth. The HSS Dauntless had not entered Imperial space by accident. Earth had been secretly developing advanced technology for decades. 20 years ago, an Imperial scout ship had crashed on Earth's moon. Inside, humans found technology and information that changed their understanding of the galaxy. Most importantly, they learned that the Empire was not as strong as it claimed to be. "They'll send a diplomat," Kim said. "They'll want to figure out what we're doing here." "Should I prepare the real briefing materials?" Sun asked. Kim nodded. "Yes. It's time to let them know that humans are not the simple creatures they think we are." A knock at the door interrupted them. Lieutenant Cho entered. "Captain, Imperial sensors are scanning us again. Should we block them?" "No," Kim replied. "Let them look. Let them see our strength." Cho hesitated. "Sir, if they scan too deeply, they might detect the—" "They won't," Sun interrupted. "Our systems are working perfectly. They'll see exactly what we want them to see." After Cho left, Kim turned to Sun. "Are you sure about that? The Empire has good technology." "Trust our engineers," Sun said confidently. "The Empire will see a ship with amazing weapons and defenses. They won't realize that half of them are just for show." This was humanity's greatest secret and biggest gamble. While the Dauntless was indeed advanced, it wasn't as powerful as it appeared. Humans had learned to project false energy readings that made their weapons seem far stronger than they really were. It was a bluff, a dangerous one. If the Empire called that bluff, the Dauntless might not survive. "Captain," the ship's computer announced, "an Imperial diplomatic vessel is approaching. They request permission to dock." Kim straightened his uniform. "Right on schedule. Tell them permission granted." Back at Imperial Center, Grand Admiral Park watched as Envoy Day's ship docked with the human vessel. "Now we wait," he said to Analyst G, who stood beside him. "Sir," G said quietly, "something doesn't add up about this human ship." Park raised an eyebrow. "Explain." Their technology is too advanced, too quickly, even if humans are more clever than we thought. This kind of leap is unprecedented. What are you suggesting? I think they had help, G said. But from whom? No known species would dare go against Imperial law to help a primitive race. Before Park could respond, his communicator beeped again. The message made his blood freeze. 6 more human warships detected entering Imperial space in different sectors, all heading toward major Imperial worlds. Park looked at the star map showing the positions of the new ships. Each one was heading toward a different important planet. This is no accident, he whispered. This is a coordinated action. Park realized with growing horror that the Empire was facing something it hadn't encountered in thousands of years. A species that wasn't afraid of them. And perhaps a species with good reason not to be afraid. Envoy Day had visited many alien ships in his 20 years as an Imperial diplomat. He had met strange creatures with 6 eyes, beings made of living crystal, and species that communicated through color changes. But nothing had prepared him for the human vessel. As Day stepped through the airlock onto the HSS Dauntless, he expected to find a primitive interior. After all, humans were barely space-capable according to Imperial records. Instead, he entered a ship more advanced than any Imperial cruiser. "Welcome aboard, Envoy Day," said a human woman wearing a dark uniform. "I am Commander Sun, second in command of the Dauntless. Captain Kim is waiting for you." Day nodded politely. He noticed how clean and organized everything was. The walls gleamed. Crew members moved with purpose. This was not the ship of a species that had just figured out space travel. Sun led him through wide corridors where humans of different appearances worked together. Some had light skin, others dark. Some were tall, others short. All wore the same uniform with different colored bands on their sleeves. "Your crew is very diverse," Day commented. Sun smiled. "Humans come in many forms. It is one of our strengths." They entered a large room with a round table. Captain Kim stood up to greet him. "Envoy Day, thank you for visiting us. Please sit." Kim gestured to a chair. Day sat down cautiously. 2 other humans entered, carrying drinks and food. "I've prepared some refreshments that should be safe for your biology," Kim said. Day looked at the food with suspicion. Imperial training taught that accepting food from potential enemies was dangerous. Kim seemed to read his thoughts. "I assure you it's not poisoned. We have no reason to harm an envoy." Day decided to risk it and took a small sip of the clear liquid. It tasted sweet and refreshing. "Now," Kim said, "I understand the Empire has questions about our presence here." "Yes," Day replied carefully. "Your ship's appearance was unexpected. Humans are not known for interstellar travel." Kim smiled. "That's what we wanted you to think." Day nearly choked on his drink. "What do you mean?" "The Empire has been watching Earth for decades," Kim explained. "We discovered your observation satellites 20 years ago. Instead of destroying them, we decided to use them." "Use them?" Sun joined the conversation. "We fed your observers exactly what we wanted them to see. While you thought we were still struggling with basic rockets, we were building ships like the Dauntless." Day couldn't believe what he was hearing. Imperial intelligence was the best in the galaxy. It was impossible to fool them for so long. "But how did humans develop such technology so quickly?" he asked. "Even with great effort, such progress should take centuries." Kim and Sun exchanged looks. Then Kim nodded, giving permission to continue. 20 years ago, Sun said, an Imperial scout ship crashed on our moon. The pilot died, but the ship was mostly intact. We learned much from it." Day felt cold. This was worse than he thought. Not only had humans developed advanced technology, but they had done it by studying Imperial secrets. That still doesn't explain such rapid advancement, Day argued. One ship shouldn't provide enough information. "True," Kim agreed, but the ship's database contained something even more valuable than technology. It contained the truth about the Empire. "What truth?" Day asked, his mouth suddenly dry. That the Galactic Empire isn't as powerful as it claims to be. Kim said simply, that its control is spread thin. That many worlds remain in the Empire only out of fear, not loyalty. Day tried to hide his reaction, but he knew the human was right. The Empire ruled through fear and the appearance of strength. Many frontier worlds received little actual Imperial presence, just enough to remind them who was in charge. Is that why you're here? Day asked. To challenge the Empire? We're here to change things, Sun replied, starting with how the Empire treats lesser species like humans. While Day spoke with the humans, Grand Admiral Park faced a growing crisis. Reports from across the galaxy confirmed 6 more human warships had entered Imperial space. Each one approached a different major world. How did they get past our border sensors? Park demanded. Analyst G looked up from her data screen. They seem to have technology that hides them from our detection systems, sir. We only noticed them once they wanted to be seen. Park slammed his fist on the table. Impossible. No species has cloaking technology that advanced. The humans do, G said quietly. The Admiral paced across the command center. Around him, Imperial officers worked frantically, trying to track the human vessels and predict their intentions. We need to assemble the fleet, Park decided. We must show force. An officer approached with a communication pad. Sir, the Emperor wishes to speak with you. Park took the pad and bowed to the screen. The Emperor's face appeared, old and stern. Admiral Park, the Emperor said, what is the status of the human situation? Not good, Your Majesty. 7 ships have now entered our territory. They are approaching major worlds. I recommend immediate military response. The Emperor was silent for a moment. No. No? Park couldn't hide his surprise. We will not confront them yet. I have received troubling reports. Many subject worlds are already in contact with human representatives. If we attack these ships, we may face multiple rebellions. Park couldn't believe what he was hearing. Your Majesty, we cannot allow an inferior species to challenge us this way. They are not inferior, the Emperor snapped. That is precisely the problem, Admiral. We have underestimated them. Now we must learn what they want before making any moves. After the Emperor's image disappeared, Park turned to G. Is it true? Are subject worlds communicating with humans? G nodded grimly. Our intelligence suggests at least 30 worlds have had secret contact with Earth in recent months. Many are worlds with valuable resources that feel the Empire takes too much and gives too little. Park suddenly understood the human strategy. They weren't just showing military power, they were offering alliances to unhappy worlds within the Empire. Back on the dauntless Day was being shown the ship's garden area. Actual plants grew in soil under special lights. It reminded him of his homeworld, a place he rarely visited now. Why show me all this? Day asked Commander Sun as they walked among the plants. So you understand that humans are not what your empire thinks we are, she replied. We are not primitive, we are not simple, and we are not alone in wanting change. A crew member approached Sun and whispered something in her ear. Sun's expression remained neutral, but Day noticed a slight smile. What is it? He asked. News. From home, Sun said. Everything is proceeding as planned. And what plan is that? Day asked. Sun looked at him with serious eyes. A plan to free every species that wants freedom from Imperial rule. Day felt his heart's racing. This wasn't just about humans seeking recognition. This was the beginning of something much bigger. You're talking about revolution, he whispered. Sun shook her head. No, Envoy Day. We're talking about evolution. The galaxy is ready for something new. As they continued walking, Day suddenly realized why he had been shown so much of the ship, why the humans were so open about their plans. They weren't afraid of him reporting back to the Empire. They wanted him to. The Imperial Palace was a building so large it could be seen from space. Made of shining white stone and gold, it covered an entire mountain. Inside this massive structure, the Emperor sat on his throne, surrounded by advisors who spoke in worried voices. The situation is worse than we thought, said High Counselor Yuna. Human ships now orbit 7 of our major worlds, and we've confirmed that 32 subject planets have been in contact with Earth. The Emperor's face showed no emotion, but his hands gripped the arms of his throne tightly. What are the humans demanding? Minister Kang, who handled imperial diplomacy, stepped forward. They have sent us 3 main demands. First, they want Earth and all human colonies to be recognized as sovereign territory, free from imperial control. Second, they want the right for humans to trade with any world in the galaxy. Third, they demand the immediate freedom of 3 alien species currently enslaved by the Empire. Absurd, shouted General Bayek, the military commander. No one makes demands of the Empire. We should destroy these human ships immediately. The Emperor raised a hand for silence. And what would happen if we attacked, General? Bayek hesitated. We would likely defeat them, Your Majesty, though our reports suggest their technology is formidable. What about the subject worlds that support the humans? The Emperor asked. Would they remain loyal if we attacked? Minister Kang shook his head. Our intelligence suggests at least 50 worlds would rebel if we move against the humans. Many see Earth as a potential protector against imperial control. The Emperor understood what Kang didn't say aloud. Many worlds hated the Empire's harsh rule. They paid heavy taxes and received little in return except threats. If these worlds saw a chance to break free with human help, they would take it. And if we meet their demands? The Emperor asked. It would show weakness, General Bayek argued. Other species would make their own demands. The Empire would begin to fall apart. The Emperor closed his eyes. For 10,000 years, his family had ruled the galaxy. Now, in just 1 week, everything was changing because of creatures from a small blue planet. We need more time, he finally said. Tell Envoy Day to continue talks with the humans. Meanwhile, prepare our forces, quietly. If we must fight, we should be ready. On the HSS Dauntless, Captain Kim read the latest reports from Earth. Vikainio. News was good. More Imperial worlds had reached out, seeking alliance with humans. Earth's small fleet, just 7 ships, was stretched thin, but so far the bluff was working. The Empire believed humans had many more warships than they actually did. A knock at his door interrupted his thoughts. Enter, he called. Commander. Sun stepped in. Captain Envoy Day requests another meeting. The Empire wants to continue talks. Kim nodded. Good, they're stalling for time. So are we, Sun pointed out. Both officers knew the truth. The Dauntless and the other 6 human ships were impressive, but they couldn't win a war against the entire Imperial fleet. Earth's strategy relied on the Empire not discovering how few ships humans actually had. Any word from Chief Engineer Yoon? Kim asked. Sun frowned. Yes, and it's not good. The main reactor is showing strain. The energy shield projectors are using more power than expected. This was a serious problem. The Dauntless appeared powerful partly because of energy readings that made its weapons seem stronger than they really were. But maintaining these false readings put stress on the ship's actual systems. How long can we keep this up? Kim asked. Yoon says 3 days, maybe 4. After that, we'll need to reduce power or risk a system failure. Kim sighed. Then we have 3 days to convince the Empire to accept our terms. And if they discover our bluff? Sun asked quietly. Then we hope the other human ships and our new allies can protect Earth. Grand Admiral Park sat in his private office with Analyst G. They had been reviewing data from the human ships for hours. Something isn't right, Park said, rubbing his tired eyes. These energy readings are too consistent, too perfect, G nodded. I've noticed that too. It's as if they want us to see exactly how powerful they are, Park finished her thought. G brought up a new display showing energy patterns from the Dauntless. Look at these weapon signatures. They pulse in a regular pattern. Real weapons don't do that. Park studied the display closely. Are you suggesting what I think you are? It's possible their weapons aren't as powerful as they appear, G said carefully. They might be amplifying their energy signatures to seem stronger. Park's mind raced with possibilities. If the humans were bluffing about their military power, the Empire might still have the advantage. But he needed to be sure. Prepare a small strike force, he ordered. 3 destroyers, fast and well-armed. G looked alarmed. Sir, the Emperor ordered no military action. This isn't an attack, Park said. It's a test. We'll send the destroyers to approach the human ship near Taguk Station. Not to fire, just to observe from close range. If the humans react with fear, we'll know their power is a lie. And if their power is real? G asked. Park didn't answer. Envoy Day sat across from Captain Kim in the Dauntless's meeting room. Their discussions had been going for hours. Your demands are difficult for the Empire to accept, Day said, especially freeing the enslaved species. The Empire has used their labor for centuries. That's exactly why it must end, Kim replied firmly. No species should own another. Day sighed. The Emperor needs more time to consider. A loud alarm cut him off. Red lights flashed throughout the ship. Commander Sun rushed into the room. Captain, 3 Imperial destroyers have just jumped into the sector. They're heading straight for us. Kim's face hardened. So much for peaceful talks. Day looked genuinely surprised. I wasn't told about this, I swear. I believe you, Kim said. It seems someone in your empire has decided to test us. Kim turned to Sun. Battle stations. Power up defensive systems. As Sun left to carry out the orders, Kim looked at Day. You should return to your ship, Envoy. Things might get dangerous. Wait, Day said. This doesn't make sense. The Emperor wants peace. This must be Grand Admiral Park's doing. Whatever the reason, Kim replied, we must respond. Humans do not show weakness when threatened. As Day hurried back to his diplomatic vessel, he wondered if he was witnessing the beginning of a war that would engulf the galaxy. In his command center, Grand Admiral Park watched as his 3 destroyers approached the human warship. Status report, he demanded. Destroyers in position, sir, an officer reported. The human vessel has powered up its defense systems but hasn't targeted our ships. Any signs of panic or emergency maneuvers? No, sir. They appear calm. Park frowned. This wasn't what he expected. If the humans were bluffing, they should be worried about 3 Imperial destroyers. Sir, another officer called out, we're receiving reports from sectors 12, 17, and 23. The human warships there have gone to alert status as well. And we're getting strange readings from multiple planets. What kind of readings? Park asked. Energy. Signatures, sir. Similar to the human ships. They're coming from the surface of Imperial worlds. Park felt a chill run down his spine. Show me. A galactic map appeared, showing dozens of planets with energy readings matching the human ships. The realization hit Park like a physical blow. The humans had allies on Imperial worlds, many allies, and they had human technology. Recall the destroyers, Park ordered quickly. Now. It was too late to test the humans' strength. The game had changed. This wasn't about 7 ships anymore. It was about a revolution already in progress. 1 week after the first human ship appeared in Imperial space, the galaxy changed forever. It began with a simple message sent from 53 planets at exactly the same time. We no longer recognize Imperial authority. We stand with Earth as free worlds. The Imperial Palace was in chaos. Emergency alarms rang throughout the giant building. Officers ran through hallways. The Emperor sat on his throne, face pale as reports flooded in. Rebellion on Xantar 4. Mining colony K7 has raised Earth flags. The governor of Nereus Prime has been removed from power. Minister Kang looked at the galaxy map with horror. Red dots appeared across it, showing worlds that had declared independence. How is this possible? The Emperor asked, his voice barely a whisper. How could so many worlds turn against us at once? Grand Admiral Park stepped forward. They planned this for years, Your Majesty. The humans gave them technology, support, and most importantly, hope that they could defeat us. Can they? The Emperor asked directly. Park hesitated, then spoke the truth. Yes, our forces are spread too thin. If we attack one rebellious world, the others will send aid. And the human ships? He paused. While I still suspect they may not be as powerful as they appear, they are advanced enough to cause serious damage. The Emperor stood from his throne. For the first time in living memory, he looked uncertain. What do they want? He asked. Total destruction of the Empire? High Counselor Yuna approached with a datapad. No, Your Majesty. They've sent new terms. The humans and rebel worlds will allow the Empire to continue, but with greatly reduced power. All worlds must be given the choice to stay or leave the Empire. Slavery must end immediately. And... She hesitated. And what? The Emperor demanded. They request a personal meeting with you. Not with representatives, not with ministers. With you directly. The room fell silent. For 10,000 years, emperors had never left the palace to meet other species. Other beings came to the Emperor, never the reverse. Where? The Emperor asked. Aboard the human ship that started this, the HSS Dauntless. On the Dauntless, Captain Kim received the most important message of his life. The Emperor accepts the meeting, arriving in 6 hours. Kim turned to Commander Sun with wide eyes. They agreed. The Emperor himself is coming here. Sun looked equally surprised. I never thought they would actually send him. This changes everything. Alert Earth Command immediately, Kim ordered. And get Chief Engineer Yoon up here now. Yoon arrived minutes later, looking exhausted. For days he had worked, non-stop, to keep the ship's systems running. Captain, Yoon reported, we have a serious problem. The main reactor is at 82% stress capacity. The energy shield projectors can't maintain the false readings much longer. Can we keep up appearances for 6 more hours? Kim asked. Yoon thought. For a moment. Yes, but barely. After that, systems will fail one by one. 6 hours is all we need, Kim said. He turned to Sun. Prepare the ship. Everything must be perfect. This meeting will decide the future of humanity and dozens of other species. As his officers left to carry out orders, Kim stared out at the stars. The plan had worked better than anyone expected. What started as a desperate bluff had turned into a galactic revolution. But the most dangerous moment was still to come. Envoy Day stood beside Grand Admiral Park as the Imperial flagship approached the Dauntless. Inside the flagship was the Emperor himself, leaving his palace for the first time in 20 years. This is unprecedented, Park muttered. No emperor has ever done this. These are unprecedented times, Day replied quietly. Park looked at him sharply. You sound like you admire these humans. I respect them, Day admitted. They saw the Empire's weakness and exploited it perfectly, not with violence, but with alliances. Treason, Park hissed. Day shook his head. Change. Necessary change. The Emperor entered the bridge wearing formal robes of gold and black. Everyone bowed deeply. We have arrived, said the captain of the flagship. The Emperor nodded. Prepare my shuttle. Park stepped forward. Your Majesty, please reconsider. This could be a trap. If the humans wanted war, they would have attacked already, the Emperor replied. They want to negotiate, so we will negotiate. The Emperor's shuttle docked with the Dauntless precisely on schedule. Captain Kim, Commander Sun, and 10 crew members stood in perfect formation to greet him. When the airlock opened, the Emperor stepped through. He was tall and thin, with pale blue skin and silver eyes. His robes sparkled with jewels. 4 royal. Guards flanked him along with Grand Admiral Park and Envoy Day. Welcome aboard the HSS Dauntless, Your Majesty, Kim said with a small bow. I am Captain Kim of Earth. The Emperor didn't respond immediately. He looked around the docking bay, studying everything with ancient eyes. So, he finally said, you are the humans who have turned my empire upside down. We seek change, not destruction, Kim replied carefully. The Emperor's silver eyes fixed on Kim. Your species was nothing. Barely able to reach your own moon when we first found you. How did you advance so quickly? Kim smiled slightly. Necessity and determination, Your Majesty. When we learned we were not alone in the galaxy, we knew we had to prepare. The crashed Imperial ship simply showed us what was possible. And now you demand the Empire bow to your wishes? We ask for freedom, for ourselves and others. The Empire can still thrive without oppression. Behind the Emperor, Admiral Park whispered something urgently. The Emperor waved him to silence. Show me this ship of yours, Captain, the Emperor said. I want to see the technology that threatens a 10,000-year empire. Kim bowed again. Of course. Please follow me. As they walked through the corridors of the Dauntless, Engineering Officer Yoon watched the ship's systems on his monitor. The readings were critical. The reactor strain had reached 94%. Multiple systems showed warning lights. Hold together, Yoon whispered to the ship. Just a little longer. The treaty signing took place in the Dauntless's main conference room. Captain Kim sat on one side of a large table, the Emperor on the other. Behind them stood their advisors and officers. The Treaty of Sector 7G, announced Commander Sun, establishing new relations between Earth, the Free Worlds Alliance, and the Galactic Empire. The terms were displayed on screens around the room. All worlds may choose to leave or remain in the Empire without penalty. Earth and human colonies are recognized as sovereign territory. All forms of slavery are abolished throughout the galaxy. Free trade is permitted between all worlds. A galactic council will be formed with representatives from all species. The Emperor read each point carefully. This will change everything, he said. Yes, Kim agreed. For the better. After a long moment, the Emperor pressed his thumb to the document screen, leaving a glowing mark. It is done. As soon as the treaty was signed, Kim felt his shoulders relax slightly. They had succeeded. The bluff had worked. Just in time, too. His private communicator vibrated with an urgent message from Yoon. Reactor critical, systems failing. 1 month later, Commander Han sat at his desk at Tiguk Monitoring Station, watching as ships from a dozen different worlds passed freely through Sector 7G. Since the treaty, space traffic had increased tenfold as planets began trading directly with each other instead of through Imperial controls. Lieutenant June entered with the daily report. Sir, the human diplomatic vessel will arrive tomorrow to establish the new trade protocols. Good, Han replied. Make sure they receive proper clearance. June hesitated. Sir, may I ask a question? Of course. Do you really believe the humans entered our sector by accident that day? That their navigation was actually off? Han laughed, the first real laugh June had ever heard from him. In 30 years of Imperial service, I've learned one important lesson. There are no accidents in politics or war. He looked out the viewport at the stars. The humans knew exactly what they were doing from the very beginning, and I suspect they're still 3 steps ahead of us now. In the rebuilt Earth Command headquarters, Captain Kim and Commander Sun stood before the World Council. They had just finished their official report on the mission of the HSS Dauntless. One question remains, said a council member. When will our other warships be ready? Kim and Sun exchanged glances. There are no other warships, Sun said simply. The Dauntless was the only one. Shocked murmurs filled the room. But the Empire detected 7 ships, another council member protested. 6 were cargo vessels refitted to emit energy signatures similar to the Dauntless, Kim explained. A projection, not reality. You risked everything on a bluff? Asked the council leader, her voice incredulous. We risked everything on the Empire's fear, Kim corrected her. Fear of the unknown, fear of change, and on the courage of 53 worlds ready for freedom, Sun added. As Kim looked around the room at the stunned faces of Earth's leaders, he smiled. Sometimes one ship in the right place at the right time is all you need to change a galaxy. The end.